What's up, everybody? Tom Pelissero here with the very dapper Judd Zulgad. Where were you today?
Natalie attired, I believe.
Natalie, yes.
1500 ESPN Hubbard function was very nice. Luncheon, Dan Seaman did a great job. He's our boss. Does a
about all the
fantastic
charity
job.
work this
about
year,
all,
right?
all the community work, and they do a lot of community work. But that is why I'm dressed like this.
You look very nice.
I'm not dressed like this for football.
What color would you call that shirt?
Blue. There's only like 4 colors, Tom.
It's, I don't know.
Here's the thing.
You could find that color in a peacock's tail, I'm pretty sure.
This? I've told my wife this, though. This is blue. There's only like 5 colors,
Yeah, you got a
really.
stain on the collar right there.
Is that really a stain? Oh, no. Oh, well, let's talk football.
All right, 8-6 for the Minnesota Vikings as they head down to Houston, Judd. Another big win for them down in St. Louis. 3 times now you can look at over the past month that they've managed to keep their season alive. Against Detroit at the Metrodome, against Chicago at the Metrodome, and then again going down to St. Louis. You get to 8 wins, you are at worst a 500 team, at worst a 500 team within the division, and you got a chance if you can find a way to go down to Houston and beat the Texans. And Texans team that does still have something to play for, has already won 12 games this season. You're going to stay alive, and that game against the Packers in the finale is going to mean something. Do you think, though, that they can beat the Texans?
I don't, but you know what? They've surprised me, as you know well, all season long, because you've had a far better record.
4 wins?
I had them at 4 wins, and also you've done a far better job at sort of forecasting game by game than I have. I had them losing to St. Louis. I'm not shocked they beat St. Louis. I am surprised they beat St. Louis like they did beat St. Louis. And out of that game, Tom, I said this. This season, as far as I'm concerned, no matter what happens, now the Vikings can lose their final 2 games. This season has to be deemed a success. They're at 8 wins. I had them at 4 wins. I think the popular prediction was 6 wins. So it's not like 4 wins was a shocking low number. They won 3 games all last season. If you look at what this team has accomplished this year with the roster they have, with the veterans that they got to buy in, and remember, we've gone all season long with the quarterback play being okay to spotty to bad. If you look at what this club has done, I think you got to call this season a success.
And they want to see Christian Ponder continue to have more good moments than bad moments. I think, though, looking at that game the other day down in St. Louis, there were 4 or 5 plays where you saw that same bad Ponder, where he's tapping his feet or he's patting the ball in the pocket, where he's just making a bad decision as he does on that slant that nearly gets picked off. But he limited those. I think limited those beyond what we've seen from him in recent weeks. So is it a small step forward? Yes, but it's a step forward nonetheless for Christian Ponder. They're just trying to patch things together as best they can there. Right. They're not going to ask a lot from him. They got to figure out how to run the football. And I give Bill Musgrave a ton of credit. Obviously, Adrian Peterson's an unbelievable athlete, but I give Musgrave credit for continually finding ways between his personnel groups and the formations to give the defense enough pause to not know exactly what's coming, not know based on who's in the huddle how you're going to be able to line up. That's been a part of their success in the running game, too.
2 things come to mind out of this season offensively for the Vikings. One is Adrian Peterson, to me, is the MVP. I mean, what he's done this season is phenomenal. For a running back to have this type of impact in a league where a lot of teams either rotate their backs or really the passing game is king, for a running back to have the effect that he's had, and he did it on Sunday in St. Louis. The Rams come back 4th quarter, right? They score that touchdown, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. The Rams could make a run. What does Adrian Peterson do? He runs for, 51 yards?
52 yards on a play that's dead 5 yards in the backfield.
And that completely, right there, you say, okay, the Vikings are going to win this game. The Vikings go down and kick a field goal. That's number one. The other and most interesting dynamic to me is how is the decision at Winter Park going to be made about the quarterback now? Because the fact the Vikings are in the playoff race, the Vikings are doing exactly what you said, which is they're asking Ponder not to lose the game. They're basically saying to Christian, hey, Christian, do the best you can. Here's the parameters we want you to play within, but you can't make any real judgments about him. The offseason is going to be really interesting when it comes to them making a decision on Ponder because, you know what, now we know this. They're going to go into the offseason without any crystal clear idea of what Christian Ponder can be still, unless you want to say he's a lost cause, and they're not going to say that.
No, and I don't believe, based on everything I know about how they look at him right now, that they believe he's a lost cause. I think they'll continue to develop him. The more interesting thing is, how do they compose that entire quarterback position? Because do you believe that having a veteran, having somebody to push Christian Ponder, would that have made him better? I understand why they approached it the way they did, which was make clear this is the guy. There is no question about it. We got to rally behind this guy because leadership and a focused message is a huge part of an NFL offseason. But do you now look at Christian Ponder, and do you look at some of the concerns that have been expressed within that locker room about the way that Christian Ponder has played, and do you say, you know what, we've at least got to create the illusion of a competition. We've at least got to bring in somebody to push Christian Ponder. I think all those things are going to fit together. When it comes to the marriage thing, and he gets married on Monday, this has been a storyline 3 times now, for whatever reason, whether you believe that this matters or not.
2012, it's a fun storyline.
Well, it's because it's 2012, and it's also something that's happening during the season. I mean, a lot was made of Tony Romo going to Mexico with Jessica Simpson during a bye week not that long ago, too. These things happen. It's very unique to the quarterback position, but from what I was told, Do people, is it sort of a running joke among some people in the building? Yes. About the fact that, well, what's she going to do? Is she going to leave you during the season?
Right.
Like, you can figure this out after the season, but at the same time, they see a guy who's working his ass off, and they're not really concerned with it.
The marriage thing, it's cliche to talk about focus, but it's real. The focus of football players, and your quarterback in particular, is actually a very real thing.
It's far more relevant to the quarterback than it is to the punter.
Sure. Well, oh, exactly right. But that's what I'm saying is we laugh about the Ponder thing, but I guarantee you there are some teammates. I guarantee you a Christian Ponder saying, what's going on? Why did he get married with 2 games left? That doesn't make sense to me.
Even during the bye week when he was following her around all those stops, you had some teammates making wisecracks about it.
And plus they get engaged so quickly, so I think we were all surprised by that. And now they're married. They go on a victory Monday and get married in a courthouse.
That's a big victory.
In Hudson. Well, yes, it is a big victory for him. But you go and get married in Hudson on a Monday, it's sort of a weird deal. It's his own deal, but it's a weird deal. But as far as the quarterback position goes, too, I think the luxury the Vikings had this season was no matter what they did, no one was going to be surprised. So if Ponder plays quarterback all season long, let's say they win 5 or 6 games, then you feel, okay, they didn't make the playoffs, they weren't that good, but you have a read on Ponder. I don't think, Tom, you can go into next season with that same plan. I think you do need to bring in a veteran to at least provide him some competition and possibly win that job, because now what you have to sell the locker room is this: we're now competitive. And so I don't think you can be halfway through next season and say to your quarterback, please don't lose this game for us. And oh, by the way, Adrian Peterson can probably win it. That was a luxury I think you have for 1 year. But now when you go to Jared Allen, let's say Antoine Winfield's still there, whoever's still there, I think you got to say to them, all right, boys, we at least have a backup plan. There's no backup plan this year.
Back to the coaching staff again, I think that it's fair to say, and I said this a week ago after we beat Chicago, I do think Leslie Frazier is safe for next season. I think that Bill Musgrave is safe based on particularly the game plans they come up with the past 5 weeks here. You haven't seen them double-moving Michael Jenkins. They're not trying to do things that they're not equipped to do. I think they've come up with really smart game plans that have given them an opportunity. And on the defensive side of the ball, the entire mess last season with Fred Puckett, Leslie Frazier taking away the play-calling duty, Cedric Griffin refusing to play the defenses that were called and eventually getting benched. You had all this madness going on. One of Leslie Frazier's strengths is being able to deal with things in a calm manner and resolve issues. One of the things he did, bringing in Alan Williams, and I've been impressed with Alan Williams outside of really 2 game plans, the 2 read option quarterbacks they faced. The game plan in Washington, which I know some players were not pleased with how they were prepared for that game, and then in Seattle where they faced Russell Wilson, saw some of the same sorts of stuff. Yep. Other than that, I think that they've come up with a really smart game plan. I thought they did one of the best jobs against the Rams. The level of disguise they used, the way they got in and out of some blitzes, sending blitzes when the Rams weren't ready for them, admittedly weren't ready for them. Some of the coverages that they ran out of different looks than would be expected normally. They really mixed things up. And that's sort of a cliche, too, to say, well, they mixed things up. They did it in a smart way, and they did it in a way that guys could execute, and people seem to be buying it.
Of all the regrets of the 3-13 season in 2011, I think number 1 would be Fred Puckett. Fred Puckett got that job based on the Philadelphia game plan at the end of the 2010 season.
Which, by the way, they used some components of against St. Louis. They sent that slot blitz after.
The problem is, what you can tell from Fred Puckett is he was never meant to be a defensive coordinator in the National Football League. He's a good linebackers coach. He's a good position coach. Alan Williams has come in, and remember, too, first year as a coordinator, he's come in and he's done a couple things. To me, he's come up with some good game plans, and you know what? He and Frazier probably work closely together, which is a great thing. Leslie Frazier doesn't only need to be back next year. He needs an extension. I don't think you can ask him to coach in the final year of his contract. Very few coaches do that in this league, if any. Leslie Frazier has proven through his ability to crisis management with this team that I think he deserves at least another 3-year deal.
He's Judd. I'm Tom. Full Vikings coverage, as always, at 1500ESPN.com. We will see you.